Super Mario Bros. 3, the third main installment in the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. It's my favorite Super Mario game out of the first three, and it's my favorite NES game of all time. This game's a classic. It's platforming perfection. Does it still hold up? Let's get into it. This game came out October 23rd, 1988 in Japan, and in North America, February 12th, 1990. And I believe they shown footage of this game in that Wizard movie well before it even came out in the States. The story of this game is that it takes place in the Mushroom World, and there's 7 different kingdoms that border the Mushroom Kingdom, where Peach's castle is. So Bowser sent his Koopalings to these 7 other kingdoms to take the wand of the kings and transform them into some animal or creature and take over their castle. And so Princess Peach dispatches Mario and Luigi to go defeat each Koopaling and restore the kings back to normal. Obviously, once you do that, Bowser eventually kidnaps Peach while you're gone, and then you have to end up saving her at the end. A lot of people think the Koopalings are Bowser's children, and that's just not true. And I believe there's a spelling error or something in the manual that said they were his children, or a spelling translation. But I'm pretty sure everybody knows by now that the Koopalings are not related to Bowser. They're just like his elite minions. Bowser Jr. is Bowser's only son. That's why he looks just like him, whereas the Koopalings don't. This game has 8 worlds to explore. Each world has a different theming. One will be grass, desert, water, even giant land. And then you get like ice, the sky, dark land, pipe land, not in any particular order. So good variety and very creative. On the world map, you can move Mario or Luigi to select a level. You can go to mushroom houses to get extra power-ups. You'll get 1 at each mushroom house, and it'll be random. You just pick a chest. There's also fortresses with boom booms in them, and secret warp whistle on World 1. You have a card matching game where you can match cards, and say you match 2 stars, then you get a star in your inventory. So that's pretty cool. And then there's the one where you stop the power-up when it's spinning. I could have swore I read somewhere that that one was rigged, but I have gotten it before, but not sure if it's rigged or not. There's also Hammer Brothers that will roam the map, and there's a music box you can get in later worlds to put them to sleep, so you can just walk over them, but they're really not hard to deal with. The levels in this game are a lot of fun, and there's lots of secrets to them, different paths. I feel like a lot of Mario games have that going for it, but the levels on here are very, very fun. And the power-ups that this game introduces are amazing, and some of them we've still yet to see return to this day. This game has a lot of power-ups. You have the Super Mushroom, which turns you into Super Mario. You have the Fire Flower, lets you throw fireballs. And now you have the Super Leaf, which lets you turn into Raccoon Mario. And so on this game there's a P meter, and so if you hold down the B button and run on a flat surface for a small duration, you'll eventually fill it and you can run. And if you don't have the Super Leaf, you can just run and jump really, really high. But if you have a Super Leaf and you're Raccoon Mario, you can take flight for a short period of time. And so that lets you fly into like secret areas or just fly over obstacles in general, which is really cool. They also have the frog suit on here, which lets you jump high and swim really, really fast. And I feel like that's only useful for World 3. But you could use it on land levels, but it's not like optimal. There's also the Hammer Brothers suit, which lets you throw hammers in like an arc. And so I've played this game so many times, and I feel like I've only got that once per playthrough, so it's like a rare item. So use it wisely. There's also the Tanuki suit, which is similar to the Super Leaf, where you turn into Raccoon Mario, except you're in a Tanuki suit, and you could turn into a statue. So you can use the statue to drop from midair, to kill enemies. You turn into a statue, and you're invincible for a short period of time before you transform back. So that's like an iconic power-up from this game, and they brought that back in Super Mario 3D Land, I believe, so lots of cool power-ups. And you have the shoe that lets you jump on spiky enemies. So many power-ups they've introduced in this game, and the hammer power-up never even made a return ever, so that's interesting. There's also the P-Wing, which lets you be Raccoon Mario, but instead of filling your P meter by running, it's already filled, so you can just run and fly over objects, obstacles, as long as you want. It will only last for one level, and if you get hit, obviously in the level, you'll lose it, so use those wisely. I always get like tons of them on a playthrough, but I never use them because it just feels like cheating. It's not, but I never use them. There's also the Cloud that lets you skip over levels. I don't use that either. And the Warp Whistles, which let you skip worlds. There's 3 in the game. And the Hammer that lets you break objects to create shortcuts on the world map or get to certain items, so lots of power-ups, lots of stuff to use. The music in this game is so good, and World 1, World 4 are probably my favorites, and they're just so iconic. Such an amazing soundtrack. And I believe World 3, Waterland, I think that's what it's called, is a iteration of the Fairy Fountain theme from the Legend of Zelda games. So that's a cool Easter egg. The music on here is so good. And the Iceland theme, they also have that as like a ringtone in A Thousand Year Door for Paper Mario. So that's a nice little reference. But yeah, the music on here is so good. The fortress themes, the final boss theme is so iconic. Awesome soundtrack. On the world map, if you press B, you'll also open up your inventory. And so you can hold a lot of power-ups and items. I believe there's like 3 rows, and if you fill them up and get like another item, it will just like overwrite the one that's at the very end of the 3rd column. So just be careful with that. Lots of cool, fun, creative enemies in this game. This game also featured boos and thwomps for the first time, and chain chomps. And so, take for instance World 2, those little blocks that hop, or the angry sun that tries to kill you. Lots of creativity with these enemies, and there's a good variety. And they have like spikes, like the enemy called Spike in later levels. They try to throw the spike balls out of their mouth at you. And then you have those one little tiny Koopas that try to throw those blue blocks at you too. You little... All you gotta do is jump at them, and yeah. They can be kind of annoying, but they're not hard to deal with. It's funny killing them. But yeah, there's also dry bones on here. Lots of fire piranha plants that shoot fireballs out of their mouth. Lots of variety of enemies. As I mentioned earlier, each world has a fortress, multiple fortresses in later worlds, and they're just a standard castle, mini boss castle, and there'll be a Boom Boom at the end. He's not hard to deal with. You can make quick work of him. But the earlier worlds will have like 1 or 2 fortresses, and then later they might... Well, the earlier ones will have 1, and then later they'll have like 2. Not hard to deal with. Once you get to the final castle of each world, you'll see a Toad and the king of that castle transformed. Not the Toad, just the king. And he'll be an enemy, or an animal, or some random creature that he was transformed into. So it's your job to board a Doom ship, and it's an auto-scroll level. And at the end of it, you'll fight a Koopaling. Each Koopaling's different. They have different move sets. Take Wendy Koopa, for example. She'll throw like rings, hoop rings at you. And then there's the one Koopaling that's on the bouncy balls. I forget what his name is. But he's dead now, so it doesn't matter. And then you have Ludwig von Koopa. I believe he's the last one. And he's like heavy. Him and Roy Koopa are heavy. And so they can shake the ground and stun you. So lots of variety of different movesets, lots of fun. Once you stomp on the Koopaling's head 3 times, he'll be defeated. You catch the magic wand and you'll come back to the castle, and the king will be turned back to normal. I mentioned there's secrets in the levels themselves, but also on the overworld map, there's different paths with pipes you can take. And take World 3 for example, you can get on the boat and find a bunch of mushroom houses off in the distance. So lots of cool secrets and stuff to discover. World 2, for example, on the edge of the top right corner of the map, you can use the hammer item to break a dirt block. And you can get a warp whistle by defeating 2 fire bros. So that's pretty cool. Just lots to explore, lots of secrets. It's very cool. When you finish a level on this game, there'll be a block at the end that you hit. And so there'll be either a mushroom, or a star, or a fire flower. And you have 3 boxes at the bottom of your screen. And basically you want to try to match those. If you get 5 stars, you'll get a 5-up. If you get 3 fire flowers, I believe you'll get a 3-up. And then all mushrooms, I think you get a 2-up. It's a 1 or 2. And so even if you don't match them all, you'll end up getting just a 1-up anyways. So it doesn't matter. This game is very fair with lives and giving you lots of power-ups. It's very generous. The overall difficulty of this game, it's good. Very good. I will say that World 7, Pipeland, I'm not really too fond of it. I like all the worlds in this game. They're amazing. And Pipeland isn't even bad. But if I had to pick like my least favorite world, it'd definitely be it. Most of the levels consist of like puzzles and like figuring out certain stuff. It's not hard, but it can just be like, you know. But each world's great. My favorite world is definitely World 4. I'm pretty sure everybody loves World 4. Giant Land. But the worlds on here are a lot of fun. I really have nothing to complain about. This whole game is lots of fun. There are certain enemies, like the bloopers and the underwater levels, that can be kind of annoying, but they're annoying in every Mario game. And the giant fish that tries to eat you, that can be kind of annoying, but it's really not bad, honestly. Once you save each kingdom and defeat each Koopaling, Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach. Oh no, who would have saw that coming? Oh no. Well, maybe she should have boarded her door up. Because after you beat each world, she like sends you a letter like, oh, please be careful. But it's like, why don't you be careful? You should have like locked your door or something, you know? Anyway, she gets kidnapped and we have to go to Darkland, I believe that's what it's called. And yeah, tons of armies of the Koopas, military tanks, you got airships, and then you got normal levels, and those levels have like booby traps in them. It's a lot of fun. Nothing really hard. It's good balance, so it's not bad. Lots of fun. Once you defeat all those, you'll fight the final boss, Bowser. And so his level has laser beam statues that you gotta watch out for. Other than that, it's really not that bad, and it's not even that long either. And then once you face Bowser, he ground pounds into these blocks, And so it's not hard to dodge at all. Very easy. And once he hits enough blocks, he'll eventually fall through it. And then you beat the game. But what's interesting is I've heard that he doesn't have collision on the bottom half of his sprite. So if you're like Tiny Mario or you're Big Mario and you crouch, you can actually just like stay there and let him land on you because he won't be able to hurt you. So that's interesting. Once you rescue Princess Peach, she actually makes a joke and she's like, sorry, but the princess is in another castle. Haha, just kidding. Like, you think this is funny? I almost died. This is not a joke, lady. Yeah, we rescue her and the game is over. Once the credits roll, you can start the game again and you'll start off at World 1, but in your inventory, you'll have a bunch of P-Wings, so you don't have unlimited, but you have a lot, and you can just play through the game again if you want to do that. I will say, this game is like 2.5 to 3 hours long, especially if you're playing each level, and you're not using warp whistles or skipping levels on the map. If you play every single level, it'll take you right around 3 hours, so yeah, lots of fun. I also will mention, if you're playing 2-player, you can play like the classic Mario Bros. Like arcade battle, but I wasn't playing 2-player, but that is something you can do. Something interesting to add is that people think this game is a stage play. Yes, the opening cinematic or whatever has like a stage, and some levels look like they have props, but that could have just been an artistic choice, because Paper Mario, you're on a stage, and that game isn't a play. Even Mario Bros. 2, the character select screen is on a stage, but that's not a stage play, that's a dream. So, and people are like, oh, Mr. Miyamoto said so. Well, he didn't tell me, so it doesn't matter. But you can believe what you want, I don't care. Anyways, this game's amazing, I love it. It's a classic. I know I say that all the time. Go play it. I mean it. It's amazing, perfect platformer, and the controls are perfect. I love it. If Super Mario World didn't exist, this would be like my favorite 2D Mario. They're both amazing, but I just love this game so much. Go play it, have fun. I'll see you next time.